Marge was working over the captain and a couple of redcoats. So I slipped back in through the side door.
In 1958, Seven Voyages of Sinbad came out, a seminal Ray Harryhausen and Charles Schneer production, and you know, that was pretty much what sunk the shaft into my heart. My take on it, at the moment, at least historically with visual effects, is we're either doing talking animals or superheroes. So, and the superheroes pretty much come from graphic novels and things like that.
Sure. It's Ed Catmull. He's the president of Walt Disney and Pixar Animation Studios and a presenter at tonight's VES Awards.
And when you look at Wizard of Oz, they were trying to create a fantastic world with pushing things as hard as they could at the time. Disney early on was using, it wasn't called blue screen matting, but it was matting systems to try to mix characters together. So they're always pushing as hard as they could against that technological limit.
So it was a matter of sort of blending all these different performance styles to figure out what Iron Man should be, because it wasn't always what Robert was doing or always what the stuntman was doing or the animators were imagining. It had to kind of all be put together to make kind of one character that seemed the same in all the shots.
You don't see that much original material being developed. It's mostly stuff that marketing feels or has the confidence they can actually sell.
I think the key thing to note is that over the history of film, the films have been about creating new stories and characters, and they're not about reality. And as we've given new tools and new capabilities to filmmakers, they want to take whatever tools they can, or whatever those abilities are, to tell that story.
The blimp, yes, right, the blimp was completely CG. That whole scene was generated from still photographs, so that was complete fabrication.
I guess our main job was to put Benjamin Button, to take out the head of the set double that was shot on set, and to put in Benjamin Button's head.
So Button wasn't real. Was she? I figured I'd look for a real band and ask a few questions.
Stuff that evolved after we wrapped principal photography. So, for example, in the suit-up sequence in Tony Stark's workshop, where Robert Downey Jr. puts on the red and gold suit for the first time, that was all entirely synthetic. We had some stills of the real set, and we had a guy standing there in a wetsuit, actually a stuntman, whose wig we had to modify with Robert's real hair, and otherwise it's entirely created.
I was gonna tell Marge about the stuntman wearing Robert Downey Jr.'s hair, but she told me to just keep moving, so I walked on by. Made me start to wonder, what else wasn't real around here? Who was real and who was painted in? I felt like I was in an episode of Doctor Who.
And the award goes to Doctor Who!
Marge got to the point. She asked Tippett if he thought this movie magic could change the art of storytelling.
It can only support it, and only in the service of artists.
When visual effects does get in the way of story, why is that? What happens?
Because you've lost sight of why you're making the movie.
And that does happen at times.
Not a Pixar.
No, of course not Pixar.
Of course not.
Like I was just saying, in most of the visual effects films, there's virtually no story. It's just, action. So it certainly changed it that way.
We probably don't let anything interfere with story, for starters. So the visual effects, being a piece of the process, kind of falls into place, and everything else sort of is set in motion to serve story.
It's like Marge always said, tell a good story, and people will know.
We should be moving because these are moving motion picture cameras.
Yeah, so, no, we should be still, so no one knows.
No one knows.
Perfect.
It's like Marge always said, movie magic ain't like sausage. When it comes to how it's made, you really want to know.